My number 10 wide receiver in the upcoming 2021 NFL draft is Dyami Brown, North Carolina wide receiver, a guy that's making a name for himself as a guy that can run. But at his pro day, he showed the ability to be able to run routes, which is not something that you saw enough of. I saw bits and pieces of it. I saw flashes that I could take and say, all right, I think he can do it. It was good to be able to see him do that at his pro day because, as he said himself, and it's very true and accurate, and I love guys who are self-aware, and you didn't really see me run a lot of routes on tape. You just saw me running by guys and getting vertical. Touche. You're right. So he knew what he needed to do at his pro day. He did it, and I think it might have enhanced his draft stock. Let's take a look at Dyami Brown and what he brings to the table. Flip this card over and take a look. Speed is the first thing we talk about with Dyami Brown. And I wrote in my notes, this is my analogy for Dyami Brown. He's a three-point shooter whose game flows off of his shot. That essentially describes my game when I played basketball. I was a 3-and-D guy. I took shots from behind the arc, and everything in my game offensively predicated off of the shot falling. If it was going in, now guys have to run out. They got to contest. Now I'm putting it on the floor. I'm going blow by, and I'm going to the cup. If the shot's not falling and they're not respecting it, I don't have enough explosiveness to put it on the floor and blow by you. That's not my game. But if you got to respect the jumper, now I can put it on the deck. And now I can get creative at the rim, finish on the other side, finish with the right or the left, high off the glass. Dyami Brown's game looks similar from a standpoint of, I need to get vertical just so you know I got the speed and I got the juice. I can run by you. But if you don't respect the speed, I'm going to hurt you. But if you do respect the speed, now all of the other underneath routes that I want to run start to come open. So his speed to me is his biggest tool right now. That's the thing you saw on tape. Too many times you're watching this guy and he's even with the defender 30 yards down the field, ball is in the air, and then right as the ball is about to be completed, he separates. He just runs by the guy, goes and gets it, and scores. So he's got the speed. He's got the acceleration. I like to call guys that do that burst. He's got that late burst, if you will. Ball's in the air. We're even. And right as the ball is about to land, I accelerate away from you. That's late burst. He has that. Athleticism. You see the athleticism with Dyami Brown. He's a guy that I feel like can get in and out of breaks, can do some of the little things underneath, can be a lot more efficient in an offense that allows him to do that. They didn't really ask him to do a lot of that at North Carolina. He was the deep threat. He was the deep threat. They pegged him as the guy that we're going to use to get vertical. We got all these running backs that we love, that we're using, that teams have to respect. And the minute they bring that safety up, Dyami hurt him. Hurt him bad. Vertical threat, I've already explained that to you. Route running ability. He showed it at his pro day. As I mentioned, you see flashes on tape. They're few and far between, though. But you know when you see a guy that can run routes, you know when you see it, you just say, hey, I need more of that. Physical run after the catch. He ain't looking to make anybody miss. What he is looking to do, though, is lower the shoulder. He's running the route like he's a 215-pound wide receiver. So he's running hard. He's lowering the shoulder. If you come in with one of these little soft arm tackles, he will run through that. Competes as a blocker. He'll get in the mix. He'll get in the mix and mix it up. He'll get dirty. I like it. He's willing to work for his food. Big playability. This, and I'll just couple the last two strengths. Big playability, production, the last 2 seasons. Dyami Brown, the last 2 years, had consecutive years of averaging 20 yards or more per completion. The only guy in this mix that can lay claim to that, along with Dyami Brown, is D'Wayne Eskridge. Now, here's where Dyami Brown separates himself from D'Wayne Eskridge. D'Wayne Eskridge never had a 1,000-yard receiving season at Western Michigan. Dyami Brown had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, averaging over 20 yards per completion. I'm going to say that again for some of y'all that can't comprehend that fast enough so that you give yourself time to really internalize what I just said to you. Dyami Brown had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons in which he averaged over 20 yards per completion. That's the definition of a big play threat. A guy that doesn't need many touches. Dyami Brown's stat line is 3 catches, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's a guy that can hurt you vertically. That's a guy that's a big play threat. When a guy's got 5 catches and he's got 212 yards, I mean, shit, what are we doing here, man? There are games where D'Wayne Eskridge and Dyami Brown are averaging 53 yards per completion, per catch. You're like, what? If a guy's got 2 catches and 106 yards, okay, yeah, one of them could have went for 88 out the gate. But when you got 4 catches and you're averaging 53 yards, you're like, wait a minute. How many of these did you have, bruh? He's a big play threat. His production the last 2 seasons, 11 games in 2020, 55 grabs, 1,099 yards, so essentially 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. In 2019, 13 games, 51 grabs, 1,034 yards, 12 touchdowns. So the guy's smelling the end zone on big plays. That's big-time production over the last 2 seasons. His weaknesses. He struggles with press and sticky man-to-man coverage. This is part of the reason why I said, can this guy really separate underneath? When dudes get up in his mix, get up in his face and deletes the airspace, can he separate? Saw a lot of guys clinging to him and him having trouble disengaging from a guy that was really, really sticky underneath. Handsy, mugging him. He had a really tough time separating from him. So I wonder, is that something that he will get better at the next level? Lacks true 50-50 ability. He doesn't track the football well in 50-50 situations. He doesn't time up his jump well. He looks very uncomfortable stopping and coming back. He wants to run under the ball. He doesn't want to run back towards the football. He doesn't look comfortable at all in 50-50 situations. I was really disappointed in like the 5 or 6 opportunities I watched on tape for him to go up and get one to help his quarterback out. He looked miserable in those situations. That's not something. He wants to run under it. Like I said, he'd rather you throw it way out and let him go get it rather than having to come back and get it. He's a 4-4-4 guy. Moses Malone 4-4-4 40 guy. So he much rather run under it than have to come back and get it. Occasional concentration drop. I saw more than a few of these. I was actually uncomfortable by the amount of drops I saw from Dyami Brown, which is what pushed him down my board a little bit because I'm uncomfortable with guys that drop it as much as I saw. And again, it wasn't to the point where I feel like this guy doesn't have natural pass catching ability, but it is a cause for concern. Like, you're like, hey, man, that's a little too many drops. Like, I could see him coming in the league and having, some Jerry Jeudy issues in year 1 where you're like, hey, bro, seriously, I need you to catch the goddamn ball. I'm going to have to sit your ass down. Like, we having some real issues right now with football where it becomes mental at some point. Does it offer clear formational flexibility? At North Carolina, they said, hey, we're going to line you up at X, and we're going to ask you to blow by. That's it. Like, I'm not really looking for you to be in the slot, not looking for you to play the Z for me, not really looking to move you around a lot. You know, we got 2 running backs that we really like in Williams and Carter, so we're going to run the shit out of them. And right when the defense thinks it's safe to bring the safety up, we're gonna turn you loose deep. So just stay out there at X, make it happen over there, and you be good over there. So I didn't see him move around. I don't know that he can work the slot. So he doesn't offer clear formational flexibility right now. And the importance of that is, do you know multiple positions or do you just know one? Guys that come into the league and can play at 3 different wide receiver spots, you know they know the offense. They know what every guy has to do on that play. I can't say that I know that with Dyami Brown. So, my projection for him is he's a day 2 wide receiver. I think he is a guy that you get in day 2. I think a lot of people are really enamored by his speed. They see this deep ball quality to him, like a Will Fuller, like Nelson Aguilar last year for the Raiders. And that's my comp for him, is Nelson Aguilar. Remember, Nelson Aguilar struggled with drops, but Nelson Aguilar can get vertical on you. He did it last year for the Raiders, and he parlayed that into a nice contract with the New England Patriots this year. I see a lot of Nelson Aguilar type of skills in Dyami Brown. And so I think that they're really one and the same. Similar size at 6 feet, 200 pounds, similar movement skills, similar ability to get vertical, but also some concerns with some drops. So I see a lot of Nelson Aguilar in Dyami Brown, but I think he's going to come off the board in the 2nd round. I think in today's NFL, teams want guys that can run. Dyami Brown can run.
Louie